Hey guys, Dantix here, bringing you the top 5 facts you need to know before starting Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've had the game for quite some time now and have been immersing myself in ancient England. There are a few things I learned along the way, so buckle up and let's get into the first. Your skills. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there aren't traditional levels. Instead, when experience reaches a threshold, you're granted 2 skill points to spend in a fairly large skill web. This helps grow your overall character's power and lets you face more difficult enemies. It starts off by giving you a choice of the red path, the bear, yellow, the path of the raven, or blue, the path of the wolf. It seems like there's a choice here, but that's kind of an illusion. You can go anywhere and grab any skills you like. The fact is, you can reset your skills at any time outside of combat. You can experiment as you see fit. Early on, I used my limited skill points to reveal the whole web and make choices as to where I wanted to be with my limited points. Then when I gained more, I reassessed and reset. You may want to do this based on how you like to play. Some notable skills are Brush with Death, which I found to be critical to taking out bosses and tough enemies, as a well-timed dodge will let you get off uninterrupted attacks. Fodder aren't really a problem in the game, so I found this skill the single most useful for my playstyle. Along with Counter Roll, you now have a way to punish those unblockable, unparryable red rune attacks from strong enemies. Combine that with Backstab and you have a way to dish out a lot of damage. Then we have Perfect Attack for those who just want to do more damage in melee and swing like a madman. Those extra clicks will add extra damage. If you like two-handed weapons, consider getting Heavy Dual Wield, though if you already felt slow with the Dane axe, this isn't going to help you much. If you have 2 of the same two-handed weapon though, this will give you unique attacks. There are plenty to supplement ranged or a stealth playthrough as well, though I find most are very inconsequential without the right gear. For example, why get a Predator bow skill without the Predator bow? At the start of the game, at least, I found it much better to simply get as many adrenaline upgrades as possible, as skills are quite the boon and do huge damage. You may be tempted to go for Miasma for a poison build or Battlefield Cremation for a fire, but without the right gear, they just aren't worth it. It's better to kill your enemies as the dot damage is negligible without it. Exploration. It pains me to say that Assassin's Creed Valhalla is mostly level gated. Wait, there are no levels, right? Well, yes, but instead of levels determining power, you have a literal power level. So it's gated not in that you can't travel anywhere you want, but in that some enemies will be beyond your capacity to take out without a slow grind unless you grow a bit in strength. The best way to do that is to gain experience and therefore gain skill points which raise your power, and also by finding and upgrading gear. The easiest way to do all of this is to simply follow the mainline mission path. You'll have an overwhelming desire to explore, and you will be rewarded with things here and there, but the biggest rewards will be continuing the storyline by a large amount. My recommendation is to continue the storyline until you've naturally uncovered a lot of the Kingdom of Mercia, grabbing synchronization points as you see them. Then explore until your heart's content after. You'll have waypoints to make it easier, and you'll have the items and skills to play around with, and you won't need to backtrack multiple times. You'll still have another 3 kingdoms at that point. Items. This isn't a standard RPG in that items will drop and you'll use them for a while, then replace them. Every item you find in Valhalla is unique and can be increased in quality by giving the appropriate materials to your blacksmith, and upgraded by using materials in your inventory screen. Increasing quality gives you more pips to upgrade them, and it adds rune slots for you to socket your item with the various runes you find in your travels. It also sometimes changes the look of the item. Upgrading the item increases its stats, and you can do so with the various materials you find in the world. If you need extra materials, you can buy it from the merchant once you build it for a reasonable silver price. So if you find a set of armor you like, you can keep upgrading it with your character along your journey. Each piece of armor or weapon has a red bear, yellow raven, or blue wolf at the top, which represents the path you can take on your skill web. On the web, there are skills that will increase the power of these specific items by a large amount, so keep that in mind while planning your character. Keep an eye out for legendary items. Once you upgrade your settlement to Renown 2, a merchant will come and visit, and using Opal, you can easily purchase powerful gear. His stock is random and changes daily, so keep an eye out. I also think it's linked to the Legend of Beowulf questline, but I could be wrong. For the love of Odin, do not sleep on ration upgrades. The ability to heal is critical to keeping you in difficult fights. The way the game artificially restricts your power is that rare materials needed to upgrade your items and strong items won't start surfacing until you're at a particular point in the game, either through the story or having fully upgraded your current items. So like I said in the previous point, don't obsess too much about exploration without advancing the storyline. There'll be a lot of wasted effort otherwise. Your settlement. When you get access to your settlement, you'll have a few choices to make in regards to what to build. But first, you'll be forced to build a blacksmith, which is what I would have recommended to you anyway. But next, I recommend building the barracks. With the barracks, you can make your own custom Jomsviking, which can be equipped with gear and items that you've found and upgraded. A clone version of yours, so not actually yours, it's not a sacrifice of items that you need to give them. These Jomsvikings will accompany you in your longship and will fight alongside you during raids. They're stronger than your stock raiders that you have access to normally. With the barracks, you also have the ability to recruit for 100 silver your friends and members of the community's Jomsvikings. You'll see their icon appear in towns, including your own settlement. If you pay the cost, you can equip them in your crew. Very early on, I had a full crew of powerful Jomsvikings to aid me on the coast and during raids. Raiding gathers supplies for you to build, so with a powerful crew, you'll have an easier time building the rest of your settlement. The side benefit is that if you created a Jomsviking and it's used by someone, you'll get paid for it. I've made back the money I spent on recruiting others and then some. Next, get the Hidden Ones Bureau. It unlocks new missions and the ability to hunt members of the shadowy organization called the Order, similar to how you could in Odyssey, except not quite as deep. Then there are the stables. The stables lets you buy and equip new rides and put new skins on your Raven, but most importantly, lets you buy abilities like letting your mount swim, which is very useful for exploration. Hunter's Lodge. Next, the lodge lets you handy materials you gather from hunting beasts of the world for rewards. Also, if you find and defeat legendary creatures, you can get a reward here as well as a mounted trophy for your longhouse. The side effect is that you can have a romance with Petra after a few missions with her. Awareness. Always be using Odin's Sight, your scan. Things will be highlighted that you didn't notice before. This is especially useful when being stealthy and looking for particular objects. It also reveals enemy weak points. Enemies' weak points will glow. Firing an arrow at them will cause a lot of defense damage and usually stagger the enemy, setting him up for a finisher. Surprisingly, their head is not usually the weak point. Your bow is extremely powerful in Valhalla. Definitely consider investing a little time into its development through skills, upgrades, or both. You can clear whole camps without ever getting into melee. The game seems to be intended for you to use both melee and range, as all skill paths have range damage nodes. Read the notes you find in the world. The biggest way the game hides treasures is that it gives you hints in notes for you to follow. It may be as simple as a person writing to their neighbor, complaining that he hears them moving under his house. Investigate the neighbor's cellar and you find a way to get under the house and get the treasure that seemed otherwise impossible from where the marker is. Other ways the game keeps treasure from you is behind walls that can be broken by placing explosive jars next to them, or by shooting a lock you can reveal with a scan through a window or crack, or by entering through a cave, so keep your eyes open. Finally, like a lot of open world games these days, including Ghost of Tsushima, keep an eye out in the sky for smoke plumes or birds as they direct you to points of interest. And that's all I have for you today. If you liked the video, be sure to help a fellow raider out with a like, comment, and a sub. Happy raiding, Vikings.